Hey guys, what's up? Evo Rainbow McLean for live once again, and I'm back for another and actually a new movie review and another action trilogy that I want to talk about for a while now, and another Keanu Reeves film, and that's of course John Wick. Don't set him off. A wild bloody right. Yeah, a wild and bloody right. And one of my favorite action movies of all time, in my top 30 favorite action films. This came out in September 19. Was Film Fest, which was premiere, but it was October. I think was October 13 was premiere in New York, 2014. I wish I could have seen this movie in movie theater. I saw the third one, but yeah, we have three. We have a trilogy, and John Wick is one of my favorite action films of all time. Yes, one of my favorite action films of all time. It's one of the greatest action films. It's a neo-noir action thriller about is this world about hitmans and assassins. That's my hitman movie. I haven't seen that movie in 2010 or was 2007, The Hitman, based on the video games. I didn't care about it. Or Stallone's Assassins, I didn't care about it. But Keanu Reeves is a badass, and this is such a one of the greatest cool characters name. John Wick is a badass. He's not just a badass. Don't set him off. And that's the world of assassins and hitmans that we live, and that's what two directors did. Chad Stahelski, David Leitch. David Leitch, he directed Deadpool 2, my favorite Deadpool. He directed Hobbs and Shaw, The Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, which I reviewed the film. I saw it in movie theater, but because DGA regulations, only one director can be credited. So Chad Stahelski was credited. David Leitch was uncredited, but he stayed a producer. But actually, Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, they both produced and directed this film. They worked as a team. And Keanu Reeves was the only one that could pull off this character. And I agree with Eric Vespe and it Cool News. Keanu Reeves best since The Matrix, because John Wick is in my top 3 favorite Keanu Reeves movies that he did. And I did review Keanu Reeves films. There are a few reviews on my channel. I did review Constantine, Street Kings, and I did review the Matrix trilogy, even Anti-Matrix I reviewed. I don't think I have reviewed that much of Keanu Reeves films, but I did review the Matrix films because I love them. I have not reviewed the Matrix Resurrections. Fuck that movie. It's a pile of shit. That movie is a pile of shit. I refuse to review that movie. Fuck that movie. But yeah, I wish I could have seen this movie back in 2014. And it's a badass movie. And like I said, the tagline says, "Don't set him off." John Wick is a badass, cool character. It's one of the greatest film about this world of hitmans and assassins. And Keanu Reeves pulled it off. He did 90% of himself. Now, this movie came out in September 13 in Film Fest, which was premiere in 2014, but officially in the United States it was released in New York in October 13. Now the same year, two action stars did the same year with the franchises and the action franchises, and Denzel Washington did the same year The Equalizer. The Equalizer actually came out in September 6th. This was even before John Wick was released. And that movie was a pile of shit. Yeah, I called it. The Equalizer sucked. I mean, it was a boring film. It was a disappointing film. It was 2 hours overlong film. Denzel Washington's worst film. I haven't seen the sequel, but I think the sequel is even worse than the first one. But no, the Equalizer sucked. It was based on a TV series of the 80s. And I don't care, it still sucked. And this movie John Wick is better movie. John Wick is actually 1 hour 41 minutes long without end credits. But actually it's 1 hour 35 minutes. It's long without end credits, so that's cool. The Equalizer is 2 hours, way too long. It's way too boring. I mean, Anton Fuqua directed that movie. It was boring. It was shitty, awful. It was a pile of shit movie. That movie cost $55 million. Yes, the budget for the Equalizer cost $55 million. It made more money than this movie actually did. It actually did. That movie made $192 million, while this movie made $86 million. It cost them $20 million, and they did it with such a great movie. Now, which everything that you saw this film was practical done. The action scenes were practical done. The movie, they were fake. They were boring. It cost them $55 million for making such a pile of shit movie. This movie, cost the director, directors cost them $20 million, and they did such a cool film. And yeah, so the three movies is my second favorite. I'll talk about my favorite, but John Wick 3 Parabellum is my favorite. This is my second favorite. I wish I could have seen this movie back in movie theater 2014, but I never heard about this film before. And the same year, Keanu Reeves did release that movie Knock Knock, which was a pile of shit. And that time, I actually didn't know that John Wick is gonna become one of my favorite films, because I never heard about this film. The producer, that was, I'm trying to find the producer. I think it was Derek Kolstad, but I can't find him. It was actually written by Derek written by Derek Kolstad. The name of John Wick was actually from the grandfather of Derek Kolstad, who was also, his name was John Wick. And they actually, the title was different for the character, but Keanu Reeves liked the name John Wick, so that's how this movie became, John Wick. And I'm glad that they don't take the title, like Die Hard or Bad Boys or Demolition Man. I'm glad that they actually just used the title from the original, from the main hero. They actually took the title. And John Wick is actually the hero of the story. Yes, to me, he's a hero. This is my comic book hero. Yes, this is my comic book hero. John Wick, that's my comic book hero. That's how they should done. It's bloody, it's rated R. Yes, it's rated R. The action scenes, the explosions, everything so was practical done. There was probably a little CGI, but most of it was practical done. And it's my comic book hero. This is John Wick. That's such a cool character. Such a great character. Just like John Rambo, John McClane, Chance Boudreau from Hard Target, James Bond, Dalton from Roadhouse, John Spartan from Demolition Man, Blade, I forgot Blade's name, but Blade, But yeah, John Wick is one of my favorite comic book heroes. It's my comic book hero. I grew up with those kind of old school action heroes. And John Wick is one of them. And I grew up, before we had Thor and Iron Man and the Hulk and Ant-Man and that guy Clint Barton, Hawkeye, I think was Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson's movie sucked. I watched Black Widow. I think it was last year, was this year. I hated Black Widow. But no, those are my comic book heroes. I grew up. Mario and Cobra Cobretti. I grew up with those action heroes. Ray Tango, Tango and Cash. I grew up with John Wick. Those are my favorite action heroes. That's my comic book hero. That's my action hero. By the way, I love John Wick to death. All three are great. All three are great. But Parabellum is for a few reasons my favorite. But I'll talk when I came to. I'll talk about Parabellum because now I want to talk about this movie. The length, the pacing is fast paced. It's only 1 hour 41 minutes. Without end credits, it's 1 hour 35 minutes. While that pile of shit, the Equalizer with Denzel Washington, is 2 hours, way too long. It's boring as fuck. And even the methods that he used, I didn't agree. The music are shit in the movie. There's barely, I don't know why was even Denzel Washington bald like me. Why was he bald? He has a hair. I think that John Wick kicks the living shit out of the Equalizer ass. Yes, John Wick is better than the Equalizer. John Wick is better than most of action movies came out from 2014 till now. Yes, I love this movie to death. It's a badass film. Yes, John Wick is a badass film. It kicks ass. It takes no prisoners. It takes no name. And it's a badass film, And I do love, Miss Perkins, John Wick, and Marcos played by William Dafoe. Yes, William Dafoe is in this movie, and from Platoon, he's a good guy. He was only in Platoon good guy in this movie. For the most of the parts that I saw, he was a bad guy. He was a shithead and an asshole through his entire career, and I hated him. From Spider-Man, from Speed 2, I hated Speed 2. Most of those movies, he was a shithead. In this movie, he's a good guy, and you like him, And I like his character, Marcus, in this movie, friend of John Wick. And Keanu Reeves is the only one that could pull off to make such a badass film. Now the plot, I'm talking about behind the John Wick and my gosh, and how much I love this movie because John Wick is a badass, thumbs up. Actually, 2 thumbs up because it's a badass film. And I'm a fan of John Wick. And Keanu Reeves' best film. It's in my top 3 favorite Keanu Reeves films because I love Speed, I love Constantine, Street Kings. Those 3 movies I reviewed. The Matrix. The Matrix is actually my top 3, and the first and the third John Wick, all 3 are in my top 3. The Matrix because I saw in movie theater, and John Wick Chapter 3 is because I also saw in movie theater, and this is the third one because this is the first of the 3 I saw. Yes, this was the first John Wick. I wish I could saw Chapter 2, Pasale Colon, but happy I caught the third one. But yes, John Wick, badass film. Now, I'm actually talking about 12 minutes and haven't even got to the story and the plot. Now, John Wick is a retired assassin. He lives by code and he's a professional. He's been called Baba Yaga. You're actually sending, the boogeyman. He's actually called Baba Yaga, the boogeyman. You send the boogeyman on the boogeyman, and he's someone. It's not to mess with it. It's better that you leave him alone. Just like John Rambo, better you leave him alone. You don't need to mess with him, and that's what Sheriff Tizzle did with John Rambo. But this is a different story. John Wick is a retired assassin. After he did the impossible assignment, he retired. And his wife, Helen, she had a disease and she got a stroke and she died, natural causes. And John Wick got this beautiful puppy named Daisy on his doorstep, and it was the final gift from his wife because his wife wanted that he has to start something with love, and the cars doesn't count. So he should take care of this beautiful dog, a beautiful dog, Daisy. And I love how, I'm a dog lover. Van Damme is a dog lover. JCVD is a dog lover. Read the biography from JCVD. It's written that he has 9 dogs and 1 kitten. And he once said, that he, there's a video clip I saw years ago in which JCVD said that he loves dogs. I'm a dog lover myself, and I love how he takes care of dog. So someday he meets on the gas station in New Jersey. He meets these two Russians, and the Russian guy, the Russian guy asked him for the car, for the Mustang, his car. How much does he want the money? He said, and the client says it's not for sale. And that time he goes in the airport, and during the night he wakes up, with a screaming, and he's been assaulted by 3-4 men, and he's been beaten to death, and his beautiful innocent dog is being killed off, and his car has been stolen, and that time John Wick, gets pissed off. He gets motivated, focused, and pissed off. And when those guys go to this Rubio shop, played by John Leguizamo, from Executive Decision, he hated working with Steven Seagal. He talked his bad experience with Steven Seagal, and he was in Miami Vice as the bad guy. John Leguizamo did a fantastic job. So yeah, John Leguizamo, he finds out that the owner of the car is John Wick, and he told him, get the fuck out of here. In that time, John Wick, he gets now focused, and he gets commitment, focused, and very pissed off. And he goes to Rubio at first, and he finds out, that was actually Vigo Terrasso. Actually, Joseph Terrasso, the son of a Russian mobster, Vigo Terrasso, stole his car. He was responsible for his death, and when Vigo finds this out, he finds out, with who they have to deal with it. He's not, he's a boogeyman, he's the one that you send on the boogeyman. Baba Yaga, they call him. One day, he killed 3 people with a fucking pencil, Peter Stormare said in the second movie, with fucking pencil, he killed 3 people at once, and that, you already know the backstory. And when, John Wick finds this out, he goes in the basement, destroys the wall, arms himself, and he's ready for action, he's ready for war. And those people who killed his beautiful dog, they're gonna pay, because they set him up. They messed and deal with the wrong guy. They should not do that. They fucked with John Wick. They killed his beautiful dog. And if you want to know the reason why John Wick was more focused, and he was bloody revenge, because this movie is about revenge. It's this world of these hitmans. And the reason was because, after his wife died, he lost everything. And when this dog came to his doorstep, it was actually sort of, of the grief that he wouldn't, been alone. And that was a little hope, that he wouldn't be destroyed, it was a little hope. And Joseph Terrasso stole that from him, took that away from him, killed that from him, and that pissed off John Wick, that pissed him off. And John Wick goes on a bloody revenge. And yeah, so Vigo Terrasso, the Russian mobster, the head of the Russian mafia, he orders a hit on John Wick. But it's not worldwide. It's not worldwide, he can't do that worldwide. Because these hitmen, live by the code, which is owned by Continental Hotel, and it's the rules you have to obey. Every hitman has to obey, so it's not worldwide. And he orders, the hit on John Wick, $2 million. He also asks John Wick's friend Marcus to do that, and Marcus accepts that, but later he changed his mind and he saves John Wick twice. And that time, when John Wick is now ready to hunt, and he's hunting down Joseph Terrasso, he also has to deal with the Russian mobsters and everyone that's on the way. But they find out, they actually find out on the bloody way, because there's 84 kill counts John Wick does in this film, but I'm not pretty sure. But John Wick is that's actually the plot, the story. It's a badass film. Keanu Reeves' best film ever. Yes, my favorite movie he did. It's a badass film. I mean, Keanu Reeves as John Wick is badass. Miss Perkins is badass, and Marcos is a badass. This guy is a badass. This movie is a badass. I love John Wick to death. Keanu Reeves, Keanu Reeves did 90% of his own stunts. So I actually kind of did wrote down, so I'm gonna go with the facts because I wrote down. Now this movie cost, like I said, this movie cost $20 million and made worldwide $84 million. The Equalizer made more money than this movie. But it was near good as John Wick. John Wick is better. John Wick is miles better than Equalizer, my opinion. I don't care what people says. John Wick is my movie. It's rated there. It's a bloody movie, and they actually did a modern action, and it's about a hitman that's different, than any action star so far did. Now, Keanu Reeves went extensive training, that was 5 days, 8 hours on a week. He was training martial arts, judo and jiu-jitsu, judo, and he also had extended combat training with weapons, with guns, and he was also drifting, just like in the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. He was drifting, he was speeding with, and he was training with car because 90% he did his own stunts, and mostly the stunts are very dangerous. And yeah, so he was 8 hours a day for 4 months. He had extensive training, 5 days a week, 8 hours, gun training, martial arts training, driving training for 4 months. He was training with the best stuntman in the business, the best fight choreographer in the business. Darren Prescott was a stunt coordinator, and John Eusebio was a fight choreographer, which they were preferring Keanu Reeves for the role. And this was Gun Fu. It was called Gun Fu. A kung fu fight with a pistol. And this movie was a homage to John Woo, to John Woo's Hard Boiled, The Killer, and even that movie A Better Tomorrow. When Vigo goes and hits Marcus, because he betrayed and chose John Wick's side. If you remember the scene in A Better Tomorrow when Chow Yun-fat gets hit with a fist in the nose and all bloody, Practical Dan falls down, that scene when Vigo punches him and from Marcus all blood flew right in the camera. That looks like for real. It kind of is a homage to A Better Tomorrow. And also The Killer when Sidney, the friend of Chow Yun-fat's character has been beat off, and when he steals the money, and it's kind of homage to The Killer also. And the shootouts are also homage to John Woo, because the John Woo's movies were influenced this movie, and that was by Chad Stahelski. So John Eusebio, fight choreographer, he went, and he prepared Keanu Reeves with martial arts. The same was, Darren Prescott, he was a stunt coordinator. He prepared him for all the stunts that Keanu Reeves did. And Keanu Reeves, he did, he didn't complain. He did everything they asked. He sweat. He worked his ass for this film. Yes, he worked ass. And yes, Keanu Reeves' best film, in my opinion, best performance he ever did. Why Keanu Reeves didn't got an Oscar, it's beyond me. Denzel Washington got 2 Oscars. He didn't deserve it. He's not Oscar material. Keanu Reeves, Wesley Snipes, those 2 are Oscar material, in my opinion. Stallone got 3 Oscars. Creed doesn't count. He's not Oscar material. Rocky Balboa should got an Oscar, but he didn't got it, nothing. Van Damme got nothing because Bruce Willis did not got an Oscar. But Denzel Washington still gets an Oscar. Will Smith gets an Oscar. They don't deserve the Oscar. They only got the Oscars, I'm rather not gonna say it because I don't want to turn out a racist, just like was in Dennis Rodman's movie Bad as I Wanna Be, so I'm not gonna say it why. But yes, Keanu Reeves worked as ass. No one could play John Wick as Keanu Reeves. He's a badass. By the way, yes, Matrix Resurrection sucked. And I read that Carrie-Anne Moss, she wants to be in John Wick. Please don't cast her. She's old and she's ugly. I hated her shitty movie, The Matrix Resurrection. She was fucking old. I don't want to see her in John Wick near this franchise. She should stay the fuck away from this franchise. We don't need her. We don't need her. Because in my opinion, Adrian Palicki was great as Miss Perkins. I like her. I love her character. And I'll get more into her character, Miss Perkins. Yeah. Keanu Reeves did 90% of his own stunts. He was also training, he was also driving the car. By the finale, which I'll also get into my favorite action sequences, but by the finale, when you see John Wick is racing with the car, trying to catch Vigo and that guy that he worked for him, that lawyer, that guy, actually that was done for real. It wasn't CGI. And when Keanu Reeves was hitting the car, if the car, his opponent will hit Keanu Reeves' car, Keanu Reeves would actually flip over, would land off the cliff and landed 5 feet on the concrete, and he will crash the car. That's one of the reasons why he was training to drive the car. So he pushed the stuntman, the stunt coordinator, or whoever was driving the opponent's car. The car flipped over the cliff of the wall, landed 5 feet on the concrete. And that was done for real. And if Keanu Reeves want to do it correctly, he will land it on the concrete and he will be horribly injured. And that was done for real. So yes, he did 90% of himself, and I watched it. That clip. Don't fuck with John Wick. It's 15 minutes long clip, which Keanu Reeves and the cast, are talking about it. Not all of them, but a few cast, director, producer, that talk about it, how they did those scenes. But yeah, that's actually was. There's also they used, when John Wick uses the car as a weapon, he hits the guys, he went shoots into the roof with the gun, he hits the bad guys, he hits the Russian opponents, and they land at the roof, he goes, shoots them with the gun. That was awesome, was badass. The final scene between Keanu Reeves and Michael Enquist, rest in peace. Yes, he passed away 2017. That was filmed in the cold night in the rain. Yes, it was. They didn't do a rain. It was a real rain. They filmed it a cold at night, and that time it was a cold. It was a freezing night. And if you watch, if you actually watch Keanu Reeves in only this little clothes, there weren't even during the winter. He wear this clothes, and Michael Enquist, he went and he hurt his head. Yes, he had to go over 80 stitches because through his ear, because he cut himself during the fight scene with the stunt coordinator. When you see the fight with him and Keanu Reeves, it was a stuntman, and he cut himself from the ear in the head. He got over 80 stitches, and they filmed cold at night. They actually filmed that cold at night, and yeah, they filmed that cold at night, and it was really, really, it was really hard, but they actually pulled it off. And everyone, the cast did a fantastic job, in my opinion. Everyone that worked in this movie. Now, Adrian Palicki, she was in that movie that I reviewed for Bruce Willis, G.I. Joe Retaliation. She did much better job than that movie because she was cast because for one of the reasons she played an assassin, Miss Perkins. Um, she came to them, because she was perfectly for the assassin, Miss Perkins. She came to them with some fighting experience. So yes, she did know fight. She knows how to pull punch. She know how to fight. And I won't mess with Adrian Palicki if it were me because she knows how to hit. She knows how to strike. She knows she had a fighting experience. She also previously played her character Lady J in that movie G.I. Joe Retaliation. She had a few experience. The reason why she was cast was because she was perfectly, she moved she moved very well, and she got choreography quick, and she didn't complain. She never complained, That's one of the reasons she never complained. She used in this movie, John Wick was using judo moves, like he was throwing his opponents, through side. He used judo, just like Ronda Rousey. He used judo experience and judo techniques, which evolved. It was a kind of precision timing, to do that. But Miss Perkins, in the hotel when she fought against John Wick, she used Brazilian jiu-jitsu, another fighting technique, and that was jiu-jitsu. She used Kimura's shoulder, to lock when she went behind John Wick to use a lock, and later her leather jacket as G to perform a wind choke. And the fight scene was to me my favorite scene between Miss Perkins and John Wick. And she used Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She also was using her knees and hitting him the ribs when he had cut and bruises from the nightclub, And this movie was just a badass, and also during the fight scenes, Renee Moneymaker, was a stunt double for Adrian Palicki, Miss Perkins. She was stunt double. So it wasn't, when you see Keanu Reeves throws her through the glass window, yes, she flies through the glass window. That was Renee Moneymaker. It wasn't Adrian Palicki. Or when she grabs that key lock, actually that Kimura lock with her shoulder, and you see John Wick, hits her in the TV screen. That was Renee Moneymaker. It was an Adrian Palicki. And another scene when John Wick grabs a towel. Once again, it was an outtake edited in which it wasn't Adrian Palicki. It was Renee Moneymaker when John Wick punches her right in the face. When he grabs the towel around her head, ties the towel around her head and punches her. That was actually Renee Moneymaker, the stunt double for Adrian Palicki. But Adrian Palicki, she did over 90% of her own stunts. And yes, Miss Perkins is my favorite female assassin in this movie. But yeah, it was very well. I mean, Chester Stahelski said that it was really a great experience working with Keanu Reeves and with Adrian Palicki. And also, Chester Stahelski was the stunt double for Keanu Reeves as Neo in The Matrix, and he was also in The Matrix Reloaded. He was also the stunt coordinator and the stunt double for Keanu Reeves, so it was very well worked with him. Yeah, the fight was 3 days between Miss Perkins. That was 3 days. It took 3 days in the hotel with Miss Perkins. It was a lot of gun fu techniques. And like I already said about John Woo. Now one of my favorites. Now I'm gonna talk about the soundtracks. I do love Think Kaleida, which is actually got the club scene, when John Wick goes and kills, all the hitmans. There was the former wrestler Kevin Nash, because he was a taller, and he admitted the reason why John Wick let him live, because he actually gave him actually valuable informations, and that was awesome that he let him live, John Wick. And he goes and he kills that guy who killed his dog, and I just love that scene when he goes in the bathroom and asks him, where's Joseph? And the guy, Grigori, says, fuck you, motherfucker! And I love it when John Wick goes, kicks in the balls, he grabs at the sink and he goes and drowns in the sink, That's for my dog. I love that, Where's Joseph? Fuck you, motherfucker! Another favorite scene of mine. He goes and kicks in the balls and grabs at the sink and drops in the fucking sink like a badass he is. I love that scene. Daniel Bernhardt was also in this movie from Bloodsport 2 and 3. Daniel Bernhardt was also an agent in The Matrix Reloaded. Yes, he was, when he used the fights, the roundhouse and spin kicks on Keanu Reeves in The Matrix Reloaded. So yes, once again, Daniel Bernhardt, who plays Kirill, a man that was hired, to protect, to go and protect Josef Terasso from Vigo, and yeah, there's a great fight scene between Keanu Reeves and Daniel Bernhardt in the club, and so that was also awesome, and but yeah, I love Kaleida, Think by Kaleida. I love that. I love that song. It's a badass song, and of course, Killing Strangers, by Marilyn Manson. I love that song too, that plays, the time when by Tyler Bates, who did the music score, which I love from Tyler Bates, when John Wick goes to Rubio's shop, the time that song plays in it, and when Marcus is actually walking the street, that time the song also plays in it, Killing Strangers. But actually, Think Kaleida is my favorite in the club scene. There's also, the lines, when John Wick, he was captured during the church, and just a dog, Vigo. When Helen died, I lost everything. Until the dog arrived on my doorstep, a final gift from my wife. In that moment, I received some semblance of hope, an opportunity to grieve alone, and your son took that from me, stole that from me, killed that from me. People keep asking me if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer, but now, yeah, I'm thinking I am back. So you can either hand over your son or you can die screaming alongside him. And I just love the lines from Keanu Reeves, such a badass lines, And your son took that from me, stole that from me, killed that from me. People keep asking me if I'm back, and I haven't had an answer yet. But yes, I think I am back. So you can either hand me your son, or you can die screaming alongside of him. And just love that, such a badass scene. Badass quotes from John Wick, my favorite quotes. But yeah, so that's actually mostly the facts. The story was a true story, when John Wick, the Russian mobsters, they stole his car and killed his dog. That was a real story. It was based on a true story. And I also read that a few months that in Brazil, some guy really does exist, a John Wick, and kills mobsters. A vigilante. He was apprehended, but I read that the character, the shadow John Wick really does exist. I think it was in Brazil a few months ago when I read it. But yeah, the story about the dog really happened. Former Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell from the movie The Lone Survivor, played by Marky Mark, back in 2009, April 1st, 1 a.m. in the mornings, he was the one that received a dog called Daisy, and he heard the shots. he wake up, look in his yard, and he found his dog died. And the man, just like John Wick, get pissed off, grabs two 9mm Beretta pistols, goes in the car and hunts down 4 men responsible for the death of his dog through 4 countries until, no, actually 4 counties until they were all caught by police. And he spared their lives. He said he killed enough people in previous life when he was Navy SEAL, so he let them live. But those punks, they actually were sent to jail for animal cruelty. But they had lucky. And yeah, this movie was based on that story. And the reason was John Wick's dog was Daisy. Now, in the club scene, was a badass, like I said, when John Wick, I'll actually go with the first, Vigo Terrasso sends 12 assassins. They think it's gonna be easy hit, easy hit. He goes and sent 12 guys, 12 assassins, all the men to kill John Wick. And, it was great choreography by that guy that I just mentioned. John Eusebio was great fight choreography, and they thought it's been easy kill, easy hit, and John Wick goes and kills all of them. There's also a fight scene when he fights this guy with judo, and he grabs the knife, and see all the blood, and John Wick tries to stab him and keeps punching at him and see all the blood, until he stabs him. He goes kills all of them with one shot. He kills all of them, jumps, probably, I don't know if that guy who jumps through the stairs and knees down, I don't know if that was Keanu Reeves or was a stuntman, but they did great choreography, kung fu fight. He kills all of them, all 12 of them. And also David Patrick Kelly from 48 Hours Commando. You remember Sally when I killed last? Yeah, that's right, man. It's it. I lied, I like you, Sally. That's why I'm gonna kill you last, Or Warriors come out to play. Yes, David Patrick Kelly from The Crow also was in this movie. He was one of the cleaners that helped to clean, to John Wick. And a cop asked him, are you working, John? No, I just have some visitors, I just love that. So he goes to this Continental Hotel, which are the rules, it was actually run by Winston, and that night clerk, I forgot the guy's name, Ian McShane played Winston, which has rules. He later was in the sequels. But yeah, Miss Perkins, we go offer her $4 million and she breaks the rules, and she was, and that was when that the management, which the penalty if you break the rules, it will be the membership will be revoked, and that was that's what happened to Miss Perkins. She gets revoked and she gets killed. Her character gets killed. So yeah, that's actually, I love that John Wick doesn't kill her. Or she gets caught, and she's been babysitted by another black assassin, and she breaks her thumbs, and she goes and kills him, and when the manager finds out, her membership gets revoked and she gets killed. The club scene where when the music thing, plays, and he goes like a badass, stabs the guys, kills them. And there's this guy in the jacuzzi, he goes, punches him, shoots it in the chest, in the head, and he uses badass weapon, and that was a semi-automatic pistol, Heckler Koch P30. This gun, he uses semi-automatic pistol, and when Joseph tries to escape, he fires great, he misses him, the guy escapes, which was awesome. Then he goes in the pump action in the Russian church when Miss Perkins tells him the leverage or these people blackmails, Vigo is hiding. It was in this Russian church, but this is actually a Catholic church. It was a Catholic church, and of course, He goes he goes with pump action shotgun, Caltech ECG with 12 gauge, and he shoots the priest, and shoots the bad guys, and he goes in the vault, and he turns around, kicks the guys in the face, shoots him, and when the priest says, Viggo's gonna kill me, and John Wick says, and I love that scene with his pump action shotgun. And John Wick, where Viggo shows up, when he burns all the leverage, the evidence burns, and and of course, Viggo goes and kills the priest, and John Wick goes, shoots all the bad guys, with assault rifle, Cocker arms, key 415, he goes and shoots all of them, and but he gets caught. And Marcus, when he could have killed, Marcus could have killed with the rifle. He could have killed John Wick, in the hotel, but he missed only to warn John that Miss Perkins shows up in the hotel. This time, when he says those quotes that I quote John Wick, you can hear yourself, you can scream alongside him, when Kirill tries to joke him with the he tries to joke him, and Marcus goes, shoots the guy, and he helps John Wick. John Wick he scarfs and goes and fights him off, kills him, Joke kills Daniel Bernhardt's character, uses the shotgun, pump shotgun, breaks the glasses, destroys the glasses, and of course the guy tells him, where of course Viggo tells him where his son is. He goes with that. He goes in that Brooklyn safe house and he kills the assassins. With he goes with Ruger. Actually was a sniper rifle, and like he was a friend, he's playing a video game, and he also says, stop playing the goddamn game, and he keeps playing the game, and John goes, shoots him right in the head, bullets right flies through the fucking brains, while see blood, it's a bloody wild, to the brains, which is awesome, and Joseph, all the people are protecting are dead, John Wick kills all of them, he blows up the car, a practical effect, explosions, look a little CGI, but practical effects, and he goes, shoots the guy in the stomach, and says, it's just fucking dumb, shoots him, that's for his dog, And that time when Miss Perkins notifies Viggo, that Marcus betrays them, and when Viggo kills Marcus, he shoots him. That's a homage to John Woo's The Killer when Chow Yun-fat's friend was being killed, and that's the homage when the killer goes on a bloody revenge, and John Wick goes to the airport, and I just love the guy who plays, I can't remember the guy who played who played the lawyer, who says, someone give me the gun, and he says, Russian cocksucker, when Michael Lundqvist gives him a gun, and he shoots John Wick, but John Wick, he misses, John Wick goes, uses a gun as a weapon, punches him, to death. I just love the guy who says, Russian cocksucker, English, and Michael Lundqvist says, good luck, Russian cocksucker. I just love that, and at the end, they, John Wick and of course Viggo fight each other, and John Wick goes and stabs him. Viggo goes stabs John Wick, but John Wick stabs him and kills him. And then he goes, he breaks in the animal shelter, takes the pills, and he grabs a new dog, which that dog later shows up. That bulldog, that dog, shows up in the sequels. But he gets another dog, which I love that. But I love the justice for dog, and I love the story. It's a badass film about these assassins, Michael Lundqvist, rest in peace, he did a great job as Viggo. Miss Perkins, Adrienne Palicki was awesome. It was fun with working with her. I get nothing but compliments. This was budget was only $20 million. The Equalizer cost $55 million. This is better than the Equalizer. Opening weekend was $40 million US and Canada. Gross US to Canada $43 million. Worldwide $86 million, not bad. Alfie Allen played Joseph Terrasso. I forgot to mention the guy who played Gregory. He really hated that scene that kills the dog. He felt horrible. So when the scene ended, the filming ended, he went and cuddled with the dog. All the team there were nice. The dog was never, it was never hurt. They actually, the trainers, they ordered him to move around, one side, one B side. So they actually did a really great job. I actually didn't like it. The dog dies because I love dogs. I have one right here. Rick, my dog's right here. Rick, come here. Rick, 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 Rick. Oh. Rick, come here, Rick. See, I have my dog right here. But yeah, I just thought the direction. I thought Chad Stahelski did a fantastic direction. I thought that David Leitch, who helps directed and produced the film, did a great job. My third favorite Keanu Reeves film. It's a badass film. I already said that David Patrick Kelly did a great job. He as a cleaner. John Leguizamo, Aurelio did a great job. Alfie Allen as Joseph Terrasso for Game of Thrones did a good job. Michael Enquist was great villain. Yes, I love him. He was great villain. And I love the guy. I can't remember the guy who played the guy who said Russian cocksucker. I don't remember. I watched John Wick with my dad. I forgot to mention. And I love John Wick's gun. I love his weapons. His pop action shotgun. Sally season. That pump action shotgun. But I love his gun, his semi-automatic pistol. I love his semi-automatic pistol on this cover. Hector Koch P30, love his semi-automatic pistol. And I just love his outfit, his costume, It's one of the greatest characters, my favorite comic book hero. But yeah, everyone was great. Miss Perkins is a badass lady. I love her. She's my favorite character, female assassin. She's a badass, with Xenia on the top right there. But yeah, that's my review on John Wick 2014. Thanks for watching. Sorry it's almost an hour long, but I'm so passionate about John Wick. In a few days, I'm gonna try to review the sequel. It depends how much time I have how much time I do have. But I hope you enjoy. I know it's been long since I talk about John Wick, but one of my favorite action films, and that's it. Take care. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time for the sequel, which is gonna be John Wick Chapter 2. I'm gonna review all three films and my thoughts. I already did my thoughts on John Wick 4. Why I was pushed on, but you already know. I saw my video. Anyway, I'm out. Take care. Peace.